Just want to go to sleep.
We are preparing to go live.
Okay.
A couple seconds, so it'll start. All right, here we go.
Okay. Trying to hold off a couple seconds just so that our fifth board member is able to kind of come on. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and start the meeting. I know Trustee Williams is in the building. I think he had to step away really quickly. When he'll come back, I'm sure we'll be able to.
There he is.
Oh, there he goes. Perfect. All righty. Good evening, everyone. Today is January 11th, 2021. This is a special session of the school board of the trustees of School City of East Chicago. The time is now 6:05 p.m. and the place is via live stream, but the location also is School City of East Chicago Administration Building, 1401 East 144th Street in East Chicago, Indiana, 46312. This is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There will be time for public participation as indicated by the agenda. First, we will have the roll call. Ms. Cast?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Present.
Trustee Gomez,
Present.
Trustee Williams,
Present.
Trustee Smith,
Present.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Present. Next, we'll move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the
flag
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we will move to the business portion of the meeting. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the personnel report. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
As I'm looking at this personnel report, I'm just wondering, the people that have retired or resigned, have those positions been posted? And how long do you think it'll be before those positions will be filled?
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's a good question. Those positions will be filled, and we have no idea when those positions will be filled, but they will be posted, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I just have one question, Superintendent. The doc items 449, 447, 448, and they said they're receiving a stipend for absorbing additional second graders. Is that all from one school? Are they just splitting like a fourth teacher?
Okay, what numbers again?
449, 40, 47, 40, 48.
Yes, those are absorbing other classes when we have a teacher that's absent or a teacher that's not working. Yes.
Okay, so that's, it says second grade students effective retroactive. So and then how do we know how much their stipend consists of? Like how long have they been receiving the stipend for? Did we get another second grade teacher? How does that work?
No, we haven't gotten another second grade teacher yet. So they'll receive the stipend until we get a second grade teacher. Yes.
So and then those kids, you kind of like put 3 here, 3 here. 3.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So then how is that for like a regular class? So for instance, I know at one point, one of the teachers at Washington ended up taking on like a whole class. Did they receive extra pay for that?
Yes. Yes. All those teachers that had to absorb extra kids. Yes.
No, I'm saying, but so we're splitting it amongst 3 here. Did that one teacher receive the stipend for like more than the $54? How do you determine what the stipend consists of? Is it number of students or is it per day? How does that work?
No, it's usually just per anytime a teacher absorbs some more students. I'm not sure about this teacher that took on you said 60 extra kids.
I didn't say the number. I know she took on more, basically a class.
Okay, and what was your question again?
So, and then how does it, like, what is it, does the stipend, is it determined by the number of students that are in a class, or is it determined by just taking on a class? Like, for instance, I know at Morton, if a teacher covered a class because on their break hour, then they just received, like, there was a stipend set, they had a schedule, and they would just receive that dollar amount, no matter if it was 30 kids or if it was 3 kids, that was the amount that they received. So here you're saying that there's 3 teachers who are getting the stipend, but is it for 3 kids? Is it every day they're going to receive a stipend for 3 or 4 kids? How that's all I was asking. How does that work? Is it the whole class? They switch classes every week and they receive that?
So what I can tell you, and I will clarify this with Mr. Doctor tomorrow, is that any teacher who's absorbing any more students outside of the classes that they started off with at the beginning of the school year will receive their stipend.
Regardless of the amount of kids?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sometimes others are willing, so one teacher has to take them all. So sometimes some teachers are not willing to absorb those kids, so sometimes one teacher has to take them all.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I just want to make sure that we just have that it's just not different for everyone else, because I want to make sure it's the same thing across the board. That's all.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Ms. Cass, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Gomez,
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes, motion carries. Next, we'll have item number 2, approval of return to learn recommendations, Superintendent Wright.
Yes, I'm asking the board, I'm recommending that we postpone traditional school until February 16th, which is 4 weeks. And then at the first board meeting in February, we will reevaluate the data again, and we'll make a determination.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, I move for approval.
Trustee Gomez moves for approval.
Second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Go ahead, Trustee
No,
Smith.
go ahead. I can't find them.
Miss Superintendent Wright, can you please just clarify what's going to happen with the teachers and where they're going to be doing their teaching?
So effective January 19th, which is next Tuesday, all teachers will return to the buildings to conduct their instruction.
And my only reasoning for saying that, I know we have been bombarded, as well as you also, with different emails from people. I don't know who they are, but I have been receiving them, and just concerned about them coming back to the school building. I do have a concern with those high risk individuals, and I know I have expressed my concern to our attorney, and I asked our attorney if we could, just add something where it could be approved contingent to those individuals who feel like they're high risk. If we could look at them again, maybe they received more documentation regarding them needing to stay home to help them. I don't know what the board thinks about that, or Mr. Harris, can you please add on to basically from our conversation we were talking about?
Yeah, I can add on to that. And Superintendent Wright, I think you'll be in agreement with this. So just to back up a little bit, previously there were certain employees who felt as though they were high risk and presented certain information to the superintendent for consideration to be able to work from home because they considered themselves to be high risk. And in some instances, their doctors consider them to be high risk. So Superintendent Wright set up a meeting between myself, then City Health Officer, Dr. Browning, and Mr. Doctor for us to review all of the requests of those employees who considered themselves to be high risk. And we went through that process of reviewing everything that they submitted. Superintendent Wright gave her perspective from an administrative point of view, an educational point of view of what her concerns were. And Dr. Browning gave his input based upon the information that they submitted from their respective medical providers. And with that, there was a determination made as to which employees were high risk and which ones weren't. My understanding is that Superintendent Wright relied pretty much 100% on the recommendation of the City Health Officer for making the final determination on who was high risk or not. I think it's important for this meeting that the board and also any public that's watching know that that is a process that my understanding is it will remain in place going forward for any requests, whether they be future requests or if any of those employees who were considered for consideration for high risk before and they have new information, they're still free to submit that information so that it can be reevaluated again. If this is new information from a medical provider, that can be reevaluated again. The current City Health Officer is Dr. Paula Benchik, and I'm sure Superintendent Wright would set up another meeting for us to reevaluate any new information or any new requests for those individuals who consider themselves to be high risk. And Superintendent Wright, correct me if I'm wrong with any of that.
That's correct, yes.
So with that being said, I think there is an appropriate procedure in place to address your concern, Trustee Hernandez-Orange, regarding those high-risk individuals. I think there is a system in place for them to express their concerns and have their information reviewed so that a fair determination can be made. Okay, so then we wouldn't have to change the motion for approval. It would just be that there's an understanding that the superintendent is willfully allowing anyone who felt that they were high risk, and if it wasn't deemed to be necessary, if they have more paperwork to help their determination, or if there's new cases that they feel could possibly be at risk, that they could just be looked at or gone through again with you, the superintendent, and Dr. Benchik. That's correct. Okay. That's all from me. Any other questions, concerns?
I would like to add to that. My concern will be, wouldn't that be done on an individual basis between the superintendent and HR, or? So I can explain just how that process was. When I'm referring to a meeting, it wasn't with the individual employees. The employees submitted all their information, and the meeting that we held was with all of us together. So it was myself, the City Health Officer, the superintendent, and HR to review all that information and then ask the health officer their opinion based upon the information that was provided. Okay. So yeah, each one of their, I don't want to say cases, but each one of their situations was reviewed individually with a group discussion of, everybody that's got a certain perspective. Obviously mine is just legal, and the health officer is from a medical perspective, and obviously the superintendent in terms of administration of the school district. So
I think the process worked out, and ultimately all of us relied heavily on the recommendation of the health officer, because in the end, what we want to make sure is that we're protecting everyone's health and safety, that individual who's high risk and everyone else who's around them.
Am I correct in saying that everything was, if I'm not, I think at one point we discussed this, it was on anonymous, like you just kind of basically looked at the paperwork and then the determination was made, and then from there is you just let the person know, correct?
It was completely anonymous. The health officer had no idea. There was no names on the information that he was provided. It was just numbers and references that way, but there were no individual names. So yes, it was completely anonymous.
Okay. Any other questions?
I guess I would have one based on that. Relatively new to this conversation, but I am curious, have there been grievances filed as a result of decisions?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
Perfect. That's great. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Cass, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Gomez,
Yes.
trustee Williams,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes, motion carries. Next, we'll move to superintendent's remarks.
I don't have any today.
Really?
Okay. Next, we'll have trustee remarks.
Not any today.
No trustee remarks. We will now move to public forum. Jeremy, I know you're on. If you could send those names to trustee Williams and Attorney Harris, can you please give your information?
Yes, public forum is an opportunity for the public to participate in the school board meeting. It is not a question and answer session, but it is an opportunity for you to express your concerns, pose your questions. The superintendent and staff are taking notes and we'll get back to you following the meeting, whether it be by email or phone call. I would ask that you state your name for the 3 minutes that you have to speak, your address, and please be respectful of the school board members, the superintendent, and staff.
Up first would be Helen Stanback.
Is she present? Oh, never mind.
We don't hear.
Coming on. She's on mute still. Oh, there she goes.
Oh,
My turn, sorry. I turned off the feed.
I'm
Okay.
starting your 3 minutes now.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. All right, I'm just asking for clarification again for our high-risk teachers. I'm not happy that we are not given the choice to go work in the building, but specifically for our high-risk teachers, just to clarify, anybody that was approved before will still be able to teach from home. And if they need to be added to that list, they should make sure that their paperwork has been submitted. That's what I want clarification on. And then I would like to also say that we've lost some good teachers because of the lack of respect and the way our administration mandates and doesn't include teacher input in the decision process lately. And our ventilation concerns are still not being addressed, especially about Black Middle School and Carrigash Early Learning Center, because both of those buildings don't have ventilation systems where you can open the windows to get the fresh air in as is recommended. And since we're being forced to come work in the building, then I would like to find out if that's being addressed. Chicago Public Schools bought air purifiers for every teacher. We want one too. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Torres, do we have anyone else wanting to speak? Okay, up next would be Mrs. Alexandra Watkins. Is Alexandra Watkins available?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I just want to know when I can start your 3 minutes, ma'am.
You can start.
Alrighty.
My name's Alexandria Watkins. I'm the library aide at Lincoln Elementary. Myself and many of my coworkers are very concerned about having to come into a building during a global pandemic. And we just learned that the new strain is here already in Indiana. We don't know how it's going to affect people, but we do know it is affecting people. It really doesn't make any sense to endanger any lives.
There's a feedback. You have your YouTube on, because that's the feedback. Hello? Miss Watkins?
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. There was a feedback.
Okay. Yeah, so did you hear anything I said before or no?
Yes, we heard your first part.
Okay. Yeah, so I think personally, it would make much more sense to just play the safe card and wait for this year to be over doing it e-learning the whole time, because we're going to be wasting so much time and energy and resources if we're going to keep doing this month to month. It just doesn't make any sense. We could have improved how we're dealing with education, that it's not a mess, that we have to vote like this all the time. But forcing teachers to go into buildings, it doesn't show that you respect or care about their health. I just think it's very irresponsible. And you need to take responsibility for the people you're supposed to be leading. That's it. You can call someone else.
Ready. Thank you, ma'am. Mrs. Trissette White will be up next.
Hello?
That's it. You can call someone else.
How you doing, Mrs. White? Are you available?
Yes.
If you have your YouTube, if you're watching it, please turn it off so that you won't have the feedback.
Okay.
Or put it on mute just so you won't have the feedback.
Okay.
So,
Is it gone
Mrs.
now?
White, yes.
Okay.
If you can introduce yourself, and then I can start your time, ma'am.
Okay. My name is Tracette White. I am the club director of the East Chicago Catherine House Boys and Girls Club. I would like to notify parents that we have started our after school registration to notify them that when we switch back to after school, when the students return in the building, it will be free with the club membership. So if parents are interested in being a part of the after school program, please enroll now. Our phone number is 219-398-1344. We are still currently offering the virtual learning assistance program from 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. We now have scholarships for all of the fees associated with that program for all of those who do qualify. And I want to take this time to thank School City of East Chicago for providing breakfast and lunch to the School City of East Chicago students that attend the Boys and Girls Club.
And if parents have any questions about the after-school program or the virtual learning program, please contact us at 219-398-1344. Again, that number is 219-398-1344. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Torres, do we have anyone else to speak? All righty, up next we have Miss Melissa Jing.
398-1344. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you could please cut the YouTube version so that you won't have that feedback.
Up next we have Mrs. Melissa.
Hello. Let me make my view so that I can see myself. All right. My name is Melissa Young, and I am a first grade teacher at McKinley Elementary School. I know, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I know my coworkers and myself, we have been working very, very hard at home. We have set up offices in spare bedrooms and living rooms and dining rooms. We have brought our things home. We have been working on 2 computers at the same time. We have reached out to parents. We have done everything that has been asked of us. Why then are you making us travel? Sometimes I travel an hour to get to East Chicago. Why would I go to East Chicago and do my job sitting in an empty classroom when I can do my job at home? We just launched this Orange Frog initiative to boost morale. You are killing morale by making us go sit in empty classrooms every day. No students, taking time away from our families and wasting our money, our precious money, on gas that we don't need to do. Are we not doing our jobs? We are doing our jobs. We are begging you, let us stay at home. Some of us have small children. Some of us have grandchildren who we babysit. We cannot afford to infect our families. People are dying. Right now, I have 3 close friends who have died because of this terrible disease. Let us stay at home where it's safe. If it's not safe for our kids to come back, it's not safe for us to come back. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that was the last person for tonight's.
Okay. The next date and time of our meeting will be on January 20th, and that'll be at 6 p.m. Ms. Cass, I'm sorry, can I have a motion for adjournment?
Madam President, make a motion to adjourn.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Ms. Cass, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Gomez,
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. See you guys later.
Okay.
Aye.
Night.
Night.
Bye.